Whether it's parabens, mineral oils, silicone, there are so many controversial skincare ingredients these days. So today I want to show you that there can also be varying opinions about whether they're good or they're bad. So something I've noticed in the comments of my videos lately is I'll give my opinion about a skincare ingredient and then a few people might come on and say that I'm completely wrong. But the truth is, maybe I'm not wrong, maybe you're wrong, or maybe both of us are wrong, or maybe both of us are right, because there is such inconclusive evidence and research when it comes to a lot of these skincare ingredients that there are just tons of varying opinions. So I went ahead and reached out to people that I completely respect in the skincare industry, dermatologists, formulators, estheticians, and I got their opinions about some of the top most controversial ingredients to just prove that there can just be such varying opinions, and it doesn't mean that one person is right and one person is wrong. We're all just using all of the information that we have, and we're using our personal experiences to share with you guys. So I want to introduce you guys to the experts I reached out to. First, there's Ginger King. She's a cosmetic product developer, and she's definitely worked on some big brands that you have all heard of for sure. There's also Bella Schneider. She is an esthetician and a cosmetic formulator. She's also the founder of Bella Schneider Beauty. There's also Biba D'Souza. She's an esthetician and she's got her own skincare line with the same name. She's based here in LA and you guys have actually seen her on the SAS. There's Annalisa Branca. She is a cosmetic formulator, and fun fact, I found her on Instagram because I think she puts out some really fascinating information about skincare ingredients. You can find her at Skin Perspective. There's also Dr. Annie Chu. She's an LA-based board-certified dermatologist. She's also the founder of the Derm Institute. And last but not least, there's Dr. Nina Desai. She's a board-certified dermatologist. She's based in Manhattan Beach at Manhattan Dermatology. And because we're talking about ingredients, this video could get long, so to make everything a little bit easier for you, I'm going to put in the description box time codes for each ingredient we discuss. And last, if you want more in-depth information about each of these ingredients and you want to see the full conversations from the skincare experts, go to mixedmakeup.com. All right, first ingredient is parabens, and this one came up because I had posted some stuff about it in Instagram, and I basically voiced that I wasn't really sure if I thought parabens were that bad, and that was because when I've talked to people in the industry, they've basically said that parabens are a really great preservative, and in fact, they're a very gentle, non-irritating preservative that used to be widely used in cosmetics before bad information started getting out there. And I feel like, you know, there's been something called like the greenwashing of the beauty industry where people think that they have to go completely natural when they pick out skincare ingredients. They've been completely banned in Europe. They just haven't been banned here in the US by the FDA. There was research done that showed that parabens can be an endocrine disruptor, so it basically messes with your hormones. But when they did these studies, it was really inconclusive, and it's kind of not fair. I always say you have to look at the studies and take what that information is. They were giving large amounts of parabens to animals and finding that it was messing with them. But the truth is, when it comes to your cosmetics, they're using very small amounts of parabens to protect you from anything that can be bad in your skincare products. So think like bacteria, mold, fungus, all that stuff that can actually be really bad for you and that can cause bad reactions on your skin. Parabens protect you from that. I tend to be a little bit more lenient when it comes to parabens in my ingredients because, I don't know, I think they're necessary. But let's see what everyone else says. So first up, Ginger King, she says basically that it's an effective preservative that got bad press, but she does acknowledge that there are people that have sensitivities to it, specifically Asians. Bella basically says the same thing. There's been a link to cancer, but there's no actual proof of this, and the FDA has looked at lots of studies and found no conclusive evidence of it. Biba sent us a really long one. She had a lot to say about parabens, but the takeaway for her was that preservatives are much more important in your skincare ingredients, and you shouldn't worry so much about the parabens as much as the protection that you get from preservatives in your skincare ingredients. So she's basically pointing out that you shouldn't be scared of preservatives. You need them in your skincare ingredients. Annalisa basically says, based on current studies, parabens are safe as used in cosmetics. So there you go. Dr. Annie Chu, who is a dermatologist, says that preservatives have been linked to disrupting your hormones and reproductive issues as well as breast cancer. So she's on that side. She says stay away. And then Dr. Nina Desai, also a dermatologist, she says parabens are a common ingredient that people fear without truly understanding what they are. Parabens are an inexpensive, effective preservative commonly used in small quantities in cosmetics to inhibit bacterial, fungal, and mold growth. So there you go. So I'd say overall, the people that I reached out to basically said that it's a preservative, you need it, it's not used a lot, It's not bad. But there was one dermatologist that said that she would stay away from it because it could be linked to reproductive issues and to breast cancer. All right, moving on to silicone, because silicone is one of my favorite ingredients to talk about in skincare. I feel like there has been an explosion of silicone in all of my beauty products, actually. It's found in makeup, it's found in skincare, it's found in so many beauty products, and that's because silicone really makes everything feel nice. It makes your skin feel nice, it makes it look matte, and it makes it feel soft and smooth. It helps to fill in, any of your pores and just make everything look like it's better. You look poreless when you use it. It also makes your products physically feel so much smoother and nice. So I completely understand the use of silicone, but what I've found is that when there are too many silicones used in my beauty products, like if I use 5 different products in a row that have silicone in it, I feel like my skin starts to get clogged, the pores get clogged, I start to break out from it a little bit, and it feels like it's really hard to remove. And so I have a love-hate relationship. I won't not use a product because it has silicone, and sometimes I actually think it's necessary depending on what type of product it is. Like if I want to find a product that's gonna mattify my skin, I might look for something that has silicone in it. But at the same time, I don't wanna use too much silicone on my skin. I have reached out to lots of dermatologists about this, and for the most part, they've all agreed that it's a moisturizer, it makes your skin look really nice and smooth, and I haven't heard anything truly controversial about it, but I was curious to hear what our experts had to say. Ginger says silicone is not bad, especially dimethicone, and it's classified by the FDA as a skin protectant. And then she also says that it's used for diaper rash cream, which I did not know. She does say though, some silicone elastomers can clog pores because of the larger molecular weight, but silicones are not cheap, which is interesting because I actually always thought silicone was a cheap filler ingredient, but she claims that it's not cheap at all. Bella Schneider went on to say that silica naturally helps the skin retain moisture and makes it look supple and youthful, but she says you're also trapping bacteria, sebum, and other impurities, making an existing acne problem worse. So if you have sensitive skin, she also says that you should avoid silicone. Annalisa, what I thought was interesting, she pointed out also dimethicone. There are other silicones used in cosmetic products, but dimethicone seems to be one of the more popular silicones. And she says dimethicones are not volatile and they are not water soluble. So sometimes they can be hard to remove. And that's why we experience the buildup on our hair and our skin. She says skin-wise, silicones are not harmful. They can be imagined like a net. They form a breathable, semi-occlusive layer and do not clog the pores. Dr. Annie Chu, she says silicones can cause congested skin. Silicone is semi-occlusive, can trap oil, dead skin, and bacteria underneath it, so she'd avoid it. Dr. Nina Desai, on the other hand, says that cosmetic grade silicone is a safe component to many skincare products. She says that silicones are large molecules, so they're a perfect component to products that provide a barrier over your skin, and they actually protect from irritation and don't cause it. She says silicones are also known to be efficacious in softening scar tissue when used consistently on the skin, and that I have seen and I've actually used myself. Mineral oil. I really don't have a strong opinion about mineral oil. I can take it or leave it. I do think it's a cheap filler ingredient. It's moisturizing, it helps to lock in moisture, but I do find that it can be pore clogging, and I guess I associate it with petroleum. But that's basically my opinion. I don't think I have a strong opinion about it, so let's see what the experts say. First, Ginger King. She says that it's an effective and inexpensive moisturizer, but it's so occlusive it can be pore clogging and cause breakouts. She also says it's a source of petroleum, so it's not elegant. And for body care, it's not that big of a deal, but she tends to not use it for facial skincare. Bella Schneider says that mineral oil is one of the best skincare ingredients available. She says it acts as an occlusive agent, which means it prevents water from leaving your body through your skin. It won't dry out your skin or cause premature aging, and while mineral oil can exacerbate acne problems for some people, it mostly doesn't due to the highly refined and purified levels of the oil. Annalisa Branca says that there's a misconception that mineral oil is comedogenic and doesn't allow the skin to breathe. She says mineral oil is an inert occlusive, and when transepidermal water loss, TOOL, which a lot of them refer to a lot in these ingredients, is too high, then skin can become dehydrated. So she says occlusive ingredients like mineral oil hinder that and keep the water in, so it keeps your skin moisturized. Dr. Annie Chu says that it can clog pores, but it's not so bad, and it can help dry skin. Dr. Nina Desai says that cosmetic grade mineral oil is highly refined, and I think that was one of the things that she pointed out that a few of the others pointed out as well is, we associate mineral oil with petroleum, so we're thinking like oil and stuff, but it's so highly refined, it's not associated with that at all. She says it doesn't actually represent the oil used in the automotive world, and that's what she thinks scares some people. She says that refining process removes the harmful chemicals and possible carcinogens to make it cosmetic grade mineral oil. And she says, however, mineral oil can be considered comedogenic and it can contribute to acne on the skin. And because of that, she has her acne-prone patients avoid mineral oil. And last, Biba says that mineral oil prevents loss of moisture by forming an occlusive layer on top of the skin surface. It's safe, non-irritating, non-comedogenic, occlusive. It's safe to use all over. However, she says it's occlusive, but it doesn't nourish the skin and it just sits on top of the skin. She does point out though that while there are pros that far outweigh the cons, it is a petroleum-based product and the ecological impact of the petroleum industry is one that we should be taking a look at. So I think the big takeaway from the mineral oils is that I think all of them agree it's an occlusive, so it sits on top of your skin, and so that probably does keep that moisture in, but it does seem like if you're acne prone, you should avoid mineral oil. Next ingredient is one that I actually love to talk about. It's alcohol. And I think when people hear the word alcohol, they just immediately think this is bad. They see alcohol in the ingredients list. They're like, this is terrible. I'm not gonna use this. I get called out sometimes for using a skincare product that has alcohol in it. But what I've realized is people don't know that there are different types of alcohol used in skincare products. Some are bad. They, are used to basically make your skincare products dissipate quicker. So you find it like in your toners, for instance, but that can be bad for your skin because it can dry your skin out. But there are also fatty alcohols that are kind of good for your skin. They're used for moisture and to emulsify your skincare products. And I tend to find that those are totally fine to use, but I've been called out for it, so let's ask the experts. Ginger King, she says alcohol gives extra preservation benefits and is also quick drying. She says it's most commonly seen in Asian formulations from Japan due to the hot, humid weather. Alcohol makes the products feel lighter and cooling, but for people with dry skin, alcohol can dry the skin out, so it's not always desirable. She said the thing to avoid is SD in front of the ingredient. So she says SD40, SD39. She says SD stands for super denatured. Bella Schneider, she says alcohol is another great ingredient that's constantly debated in the beauty world. I agree. While alcohol generally dries up the skin and can even damage the moisture barrier, there are good types of alcohol which will not have these outcomes. Good alcohols will generally have a higher molecular weight. Annalisa Branca, she says that many are afraid of alcohol because it can be drying. However, alcohol is often used in formulations as a solvent for some great ingredients like resveratrol. Some alcohol is pre-included in cosmetic ingredients, which I did not realize. She says, for instance, it can be part of a botanical extract, and in this case, alcohol would be a minimal part of a product containing that extract, probably less than 1%, but she says it must be included in the ingredients list. Dr. Annie Chu says depends on what kind of alcohol. So SD alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, denatured alcohol. These are the quick drying ones and the ones you want to avoid. It makes your cosmetics feel weightless and your skin more matte, but it can eventually erode the surface of your skin. But she also says there are other types of alcohol that are non-irritating and good for the skin. Dr. Nina Desai, she says there are definitely forms of alcohol found in skincare products that are harmful and drying to the skin. They're also commonly known as SD alcohol, denatured alcohol, and isopropyl alcohol. In addition to being drying and sensitizing, these alcohols break down the surface layers of skin, making the skin more dull. However, there are other forms of alcohol known as fatty alcohols, which are actually harmless and are just used as emulsifiers to thicken certain cosmetic formulas. I actually think this might be one topic, one ingredient that we all pretty much agree on. There are the bad alcohols and then there are the good alcohols. So there you go. You have to look at what type of alcohol it is. Next, this is actually one that I love talking about. It's essential oils. And the reason why I think this one tends to come up with me is because, I have a love-hate relationship with essential oils. Some essential oils I just love. I love eucalyptus. I love rose oil. But a lot of the time, I just love it for the scent. And so I want it to be aromatherapy for me, but I don't necessarily want it on my skin. And I know that you guys have actually caught me saying in certain videos that I don't love essential oil on my skin. And there have been a couple of videos where like an esthetician has put it on my skin and you all like comment like, Susan's freaking out inside. I might be a little bit because I'm a little nervous of the concentration of the essential oil, because if you don't know how concentrated that essential oil is, it could actually irritate your skin. I feel like a lot of green and natural beauty companies use essential oils in place of synthetic fragrance. And while I won't say that that's worse than synthetic fragrance is one of the most toxic ingredients in your skincare products. And I'll admit, I even sometimes like synthetic fragrance because, you know, it's all about that sensorial experience sometimes. I don't know, there's something about it. Maybe it's because I grew up in the 80s, but sometimes I like fragrance, and, you know, I find that people will replace a synthetic fragrance with an essential oil, and then they make people think that it's gonna be totally fine, and that's not always the case. So I have a love-hate relationship with just fragrance in general, but with essential oils too, because they can be good, they can be bad, they can irritate suddenly, and you just don't know when that would happen. As far as what the experts think, let's see. Ginger King says it depends on the type. Some are used for aromatherapy, some can cause skin allergies, but in general, they're not bad. They can also even be used in products to help product preservation. She does say to avoid bergamot. She doesn't say why. Bella Schneider, she says essential oils are incredibly popular at the moment, and for good reason. They can be used directly on the skin or even in a diffuser. When used during a skincare routine, it's best to combine the essential oil of your choice with a fatty oil if you are prone to skin irritations. Annalisa says that the fear of essential oils is spreading. In cosmetics, there's rarely black or white, which is kind of the whole point of this video, is it seems like there's always like that gray area with all these ingredients. This is especially true with essential oil. These oils are complex and made of several compounds. Some of these compounds can be beneficial, they can be antioxidant or antibacterial, but other compounds are known as allergens. And then she also points out, I'd be cautious in the case of sensitive skin or an impaired skin barrier. Dr. Annie Chu says that essential oils can contain a myriad of ingredients. Some are good for the skin and some are not. I'd stay away from them because there are so many ingredients and fragrances that can eventually irritate and damage the skin. And while natural sounds good in this instance, essential oils don't successfully treat skin issues as well as other ingredients. Dr. Nina Desai says essential oils are highly concentrated, volatile plant extracts obtained through various methods of extraction. She says while there are several oils that may aid in healing and brightening the skin, there are others that can cause acne, irritation, burns, allergy, and even severe phototoxic reactions such as oil of bergamot, so she's mentioning the bergamot too, citrus, lemon, and lime. And she says when applying essential oils to the skin, the concentration is what really matters. The higher the concentration, the more potentially irritating the product could be. And Biba had a lot to say, so you're gonna have to go to our blog to see all of the points that Biba made, but to sum up what she said, she says, essential oils will be continued to be used as natural and pleasant perceived solutions to certain discomfort and non-serious ailments, and as natural scents in cosmetics. But it's our responsibility as consumers to ensure proper growing, harvesting, packaging, application, and disposal practices. Next, synthetic fragrance. We were talking about essential oils, now we're on to synthetic fragrance. Again, I have a love-hate relationship. I think I grew up in a time when your beauty products just had a nice, pleasant scent and you didn't really think about the fact that synthetic fragrance might be bad for you. What I have come to find out is that synthetic fragrance can be actually a mixture of thousands of different chemicals, and you never know exactly what those chemical compounds are because they don't have to specifically list those ingredients in the ingredients list. You basically just see synthetic fragrance, and that can mean so many more ingredients. So sometimes there are other ingredients hiding within synthetic fragrance and you don't even know it. So in general, I try to stay away from fragrance in my beauty products, at least from synthetic fragrance. I don't always. There are definitely some products that I use that have really nice fragrance. I feel like when it's a light scent, it doesn't bother me, but if it's something that's overpowering the product, then I try to stay away from it, or I at least point that out to you guys. And I guess the reason why I stay away from the synthetic fragrances is because since you don't know exactly what the ingredients are, it can be irritating to your skin. And I do find that sometimes when I'm having some kind of a reaction to a product, what I narrow it down to is it's the fragrance. The experts say, Ginger says that some people are allergic to fragrances and can have rash or headaches, and headaches is definitely one of the ones that I get. I definitely get headaches sometimes when the scent is too strong. She says if it's a nice fragrance, it can elevate the user experience as scent and part of a sensorial experience. Ginger and I work in the beauty industry. We both said the same thing. I wonder where we got that from. It's probably just said all the time. She says fragrance is a complex material as it can contain thousands of ingredients. Companies do not disclose what the actual composition is. If you have sensitive skin, avoid it at all costs. Annalisa says that it's better to be avoided by sensitive skin types as it can have allergenic components. And then Dr. Annie Chu says stay away. These can cause cancer, asthma, kidney damage, birth defects, nervous system disorders, allergic reactions, and so much more. And Dr. Nina Desai says a synthetic fragrance is a mixture of numerous chemicals put together to create a desired scent. Fragrances are sometimes added to products to mask the unpleasant smell of other ingredients or to provide the consumer with a pleasant aroma when using a product. Fragrances are also known as sensitizing agents that can cause irritant and allergic reactions on the skin, even to patients that don't have sensitive skin. So I think there is actually a conclusion that everybody is pretty much on the same page with. Synthetic fragrance can be pretty bad. And you know, it is dermatologists always who say stay away from it, but it sounds like everyone's kind of like, be careful with it. I think formulators know the importance of fragrance in the cosmetic industry. A lot of people still really like that experience of having a nice scent, and one of the big complaints sometimes is that if it doesn't smell nice, because some ingredients together don't smell nice, and when you don't add a fragrance, you get what you get. And so I think that, you know, people are still trying to get over it. I even have to work on that with my own mentality sometimes. If I don't like the way a skincare product smells because they didn't add fragrance, I have to tell myself, well, that's because they're trying to make this cleaner and safe. Next ingredient, sulfates. Do I have a strong opinion about sulfates? I guess I do. You guys have heard me talk about makeup wipes. But my bigger issue with makeup wipes is that they cause you to be rough on your skin. But another is that they have sulfates, which are surfactants. And so usually there's more than one surfactant in a product like makeup wipes. It's also in micellar water. I guess I don't have a complete problem with sulfates as long as you're using other products to counteract that dryness, because they can dry your skin. But that's pretty much my issue, is that, you know, they can just kind of sit on your skin and dry it out. Sometimes it can irritate your skin too, but I do think it can be counteracted. Now to the experts. When it comes to sulfates, Ginger King says sulfates can be drying for the skin and also impact artificial hair color, causing it to fade. Bella Schneider says that sulfates, commonly known as the ingredient in soaps and shampoos that create lather, are not the best choice. In fact, it causes sensitivity to the skin and eyes and can lead to breakouts and clogged pores. Annalisa says that sulfates like sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, is a surfactant that can interact with proteins in the skin and can be irritating. She says, but it all depends on the formula. SLS, for example, is way less irritating when paired with other surfactants. And a good rule of thumb is to look for products that combine several surfactants. In fact, surfactant blends are generally milder, which I did not know. So I just learned something. Dr. Annie Chu says that sulfates aren't really a problem. They're a cleansing agent. They can cause some dryness, but if paired with moisturizing ingredients, they're generally fine. Dr. Nina Desai says sulfates are detergents or surfactants commonly found in products like shampoo, body wash, face cleanser, and toothpaste, which I didn't realize, and that give the products a bubbly, foamy consistency. The most common sulfates found in personal care products are sodium lauryl sulfate. And she says the biggest issue with sulfates is that they can cause skin and eye irritation, which can get worse the longer a product stays on your skin. All right, hydroquinone is a very controversial ingredient, and I have talked about it before. I actually did a whole video on how to get rid of dark spots and melasma, and I mentioned a product that has hydroquinone in it, and then I got tons of comments about it. I think hydroquinone is definitely a little bit of a toxic ingredient, but I do feel like it's an ingredient that works, and so sometimes I do suggest it if you do have melasma especially. I have been told to not use it for long periods of time, so I tend to use it like for max like 3 months. I don't even think I've ever used it for that long. I use it for like a month, see how my skin is reacting to it, and if I don't really need it anymore, if I can just do with like retinol and stuff, then I just stick with that. Otherwise, I don't know, I don't really have too strong of an opinion about hydroquinone, but you guys know me. If you follow me, you know that I don't have like strong feelings about clean ingredients or like natural ingredients or anything like that. I just want the stuff that works. That's kind of my opinion about all of it. So I do feel like hydroquinone works. I do feel like it can be a little bit toxic, so I do take it easy with that one. Ginger King says that it's effective but toxic, so the limit is 1% usage by doctor's supervision only. Bella Schneider says that hydroquinone is typically used in skincare products to reduce the appearance of dark spots and acne scars, and while change won't occur overnight, the results eventually show a substantial improvement. However, studies have not ruled out that hydroquinone is a carcinogenic, which is very troubling. Dr. Nina Desai says that hydroquinone is an effective lightening agent. Depending on the percentage, it should be used for about 8 to 12 weeks to lighten areas of dyspigmentation. While hydroquinone, when used appropriately, can be very safe and effective, Its effects are not permanent and hyperpigmentation can return. It can cause a halo effect if used incorrectly on darker skinned individuals. I always recommend that hydroquinone be used under the supervision of a dermatologist in order to get the best results from the product. Annalisa Branca says that hydroquinone is very effective, however it can be misused, and for this reason she's not a huge fan. She said it should always be used under the guidance of a physician for finite periods of time, and especially for darker skin tones you should be more careful because it can cause unpleasant side effects from local hypopigmentation to oxygenous ochronosis. Woo, we're getting real scientific here. There are other ingredients that are effective against hyperpigmentation, for example, tranexamic acid, especially when you take it orally, kojic acid, and licorice extract. Dr. Annie Chu says there isn't any real evidence that suggests hydroquinone to be harmful, and she says it can cause redness or drying if you have sensitive skin. And then Biba says extended use of hydroquinone is not recommended, but it could be used short term, up to 6 months at a time, then resumed after pausing for that same amount of time. She says there are pigment inhibitors that work as alternatives, and she says arbutin, mulberry extract, licorice extract, AHAs, vitamin A derivatives, mandelic acid, and many other found in skincare formulations. All right, the last ingredient on the list today, there are tons of other ingredients, you guys, but the last one today is coconut oil, and I'm excited to bring this one up because you guys gave me so much shit when I did a skincare reaction to Catriona Gray's skincare routine. And I mentioned that coconut oil is not that great for your skin, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And when I say you guys gave me so much shit, I think it was really just people that love Catriona, and I understand that. She's got some huge fans. She's a beautiful, great woman, but that doesn't mean that she's safe from a critique about her skincare routine. So my feelings about coconut oil, I feel like coconut oil has gotten way too much hype. I think that people use it way too often as an all-around everything skincare ingredient. I do think it's comedogenic. I do think it sits on top of your skin. I do think it can hydrate for sure, and if anything I would use it on my hair, but I wouldn't tell anyone to put it on their face. Sure, you can use it as a cleanser, as like an oil cleanse to soften up your makeup, but I do feel like there are better oil products out there that have been formulated to remove your makeup products. You know, I guess if you're washing it off, it's not terrible. But let's see what the experts say. Ginger King says coconut oil is good for cleansing and moisturizing and is the only oil that's been proven to penetrate into the hair shaft too. Fine, Ginger, I still love you. Bella Schneider says, I'm not in favor of using coconut oil in place of a cleanser. Ha. Not all coconut oils are equally formulated. They can be heavy and not suitable for all skin types. It just can't be used as a universal everything. You need to know what lab it comes from, how it's extracted, what is combined with it for penetration, etc., etc. Dr. Annie Chu says, I would stay away. It's not going to kill you, but it's highly comedogenic and can suffocate your pores. It's not particularly nourishing to the skin or the hair, and there are other oils such as rosehip that are even better. Even as a cleanser, it can clog pores because it leaves a film. If you really want to use it, stick to the skin around your eyes where there are no oil glands. Annalisa Branca says, I could close an eye if they use it as makeup remover, if they wash it off really well afterwards, but there are more effective oils and especially esters to do the job. If someone relies only on coconut oil to moisturize, he or she is missing a fundamental component, the humectants and the hydrators. Yes, coconut oil can help slow down the transepidermal water loss and keep water in, but there must be water to start with. Dr. Nina Desai says that coconut oil definitely has an important place in personal care products. Coconut oil is made of natural fats that hydrate the skin while smelling great, and one of her favorite uses for coconut oil is in her patients with dry scalp and dandruff. She says while coconut oil can also be used to cleanse and hydrate the face, in those who are very, very dry, it's considered to be comedogenic. I do caution my patients who are acne prone to only use coconut oil as a cleanser and not leave it on, and to follow up the oil cleanse with a second gentle cleanser to get all the oily residue off the face. So there you go, guys. I'm not 100% wrong, I'm not 100% right, but I think it sounds like coconut oil is not the best way to go. So I know it's cheap, I know that you can get a lot of it and it smells really, really nice, but there are, in my opinion, other ingredients that work better. All right, you guys, so I hope that video, while it's very long, I hope it helps to clear up what I was kind of talking about. You know, sometimes it's not black and white. The skincare industry is an industry where people do tend to do a lot of studies, but they do a lot of studies to sway a person's opinion into what they want you to believe. And so you have to really take everything with a grain of salt, do your research, talk to experts, and also just experience these ingredients yourself, because I always say beauty is very personal. Skincare specifically is very, very personal. I can have an amazing reaction to a product or an ingredient and say I love it, and you can have the opposite experience. So you really don't know until you try something out. So I encourage you to always listen to what other people say. Have multiple sources. I see you guys saying things in my comments sometimes like, nice try, but you should just listen to what so-and-so says about this ingredient. I think it's opposite. I think it should be listen to what I have to say about it, listen to what this skincare professional has to say about it, listen to what this dermatologist has to say about it, and then form your own opinion from all of that information you're getting. So I hope it's helpful. Thanks so much for watching this video. Leave me any of your comments below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.